All right, welcome. Today, we're diving headfirst into a field that is, and this is no exaggeration, completely revolutionizing our world. We're going to talk about data and how it's quietly shaping pretty much every single thing you interact with every single day.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? But the answer is actually data science. And once you understand the connection, you start to see this hidden layer of how our modern world really works. So let's start with just how big this whole thing is.
Get ready for this number. Every single day, we, as in all of humanity, create about 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. That's a number so big, it's hard to even wrap your head around it. To put it in perspective, if you think of one byte as a single grain of sand, we're generating enough sand to fill the entire Grand Canyon, and we do that every single day.
So where is all this data actually coming from? Well, you, me, all of us. It's pouring out of this massive network of devices we use constantly, what people call the Internet of Things, or IoT. It's your phone, your smart TV, your car, your social media feeds. With every click, swipe, and scroll, you're creating data.
Now, back in the day, data was, well, it was manageable. It was neat, it was structured, and we had tools that could handle it. But what we're dealing with today, it's not a stream. It's a tidal wave, an absolute explosion of information. And our old tools just can't keep up. We need something way, way more powerful to make any sense of the noise.
And that, right there, is where data science comes into the picture. It's the whole field that was born to tackle this exact problem, to step into the chaos and find some clarity.
So at its heart, data science is really just the process of turning all that raw, messy data into something useful, into real understanding. It's about taking those quintillions of bytes and finding the tiny, valuable signals that are hidden inside all that noise.
Exactly. It's not about just having the data. I mean, anyone can collect data. The magic is in finding the patterns, the stories that were completely invisible before. It's about letting the data itself tell you something surprising that can lead to a much smarter decision.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this look like out in the wild? Let's talk about some real-world examples that are, honestly, pretty fascinating. And chances are you've run into a few of them already today. This is one of my favorite classic examples. Walmart was analyzing its huge stash of sales data, and they found something really weird. Just before a hurricane was about to hit, sales of strawberry Pop-Tarts went up by 7 times. 7. Now, who would have guessed that? But that insight allowed them to stock their shelves with exactly what people wanted right when they needed it most. Now, here's one you absolutely know. You ever wonder how Netflix just knows what you want to watch next? That recommendation engine is pure data science. It's watching everything, what you watch, when you pause, what you rewatch, all to predict what you'll love. That's the algorithm that's got you hooked for that next binge watch. And this stuff is everywhere. Think about Google automatically filtering spam out of your inbox. Or when you upload a photo to Facebook and it instantly suggests who to tag. That's all powered by machine learning, which is a huge part of data science. These systems are basically teaching themselves from all the new data they see, all to make our lives just a little bit easier. So how do they do it? How do you actually get from a bunch of raw numbers to predicting Pop-Tart sales or recommending a TV show? Well, there's a process for it, and it's kind of like a detective's investigation. I love this analogy because it's so true. A data scientist is basically a modern-day Sherlock Holmes. They're given a mystery, and they have to sift through all the clues, the data, to piece together what's really going on. And this detective work has a few key steps. First, you have to just explore the data, kind of get a feel for what you're working with. Then comes the really hard part, data wrangling. This is just cleaning up the data because real-world data is always a mess. Seriously, this isn't the glamorous part. Data scientists can spend up to 80% of their time just doing this. Once it's clean, they can start building a predictive model. And finally, they test that model like crazy to make sure it's actually accurate before it gets used for real. So let's bring this all back home. Why does any of this really matter to you? Well, because it's happening all around you, every day, in ways you might not even notice. That product Amazon just recommended, data science. The route Google Maps suggests to get you home faster, data science. It's this invisible engine running in the background of our lives, making things more efficient and helping everyone from your favorite store to hospitals make better, faster decisions. So here's a thought to carry with you today. The next time you pick a movie or buy something online, or even just follow your GPS, ask yourself, how much of that decision was actually mine? And how much was gently guided by an algorithm that knows you, maybe even better than you think? And really, that leaves us with the big, final question. There's no doubt that data gives us this incredible power to predict things, to influence people, and to solve massive problems. The question for all of us then is, how are we going to choose to use that power? What kind of world are we building? One byte at a time.